Hello, thanks for joining me. I hope you're well. You join me today. I'm just having a little tickle out Lake Vyrnwy. Well, I imagine that's how you spell it anyway. Lake Vyrnwy in the middle of deepest, darkest North Wales. Now, I've been to Lake Vyrnwy on a few occasions, but I've always come from the opposite direction, from Bonneville. But I've managed to find it from the other way, like the way I go home, and sometimes it's difficult, isn't it, getting your bearings right, but with the help of my Google Maps I've managed to get here. It's a wonderful day today. I don't think summer's quite broken in the UK. What are we today? I think it's like the 8th of July. And we're getting odd days, odd good days, but then we're getting rain, and it's given out to rain tomorrow and the day after. So I thought, well, if I'm going for a tickle, today's the day. So here we are, and what I wanted to talk about today, what I wanted to just mention was the results of the survey we're in. Yeah, if you remember, I did on my last vlog, I claimed that the Triumph Bonneville was the best looking bike in the world. Well, it seems I'm right. No, it doesn't seem I'm right. Obviously, that was just a little bit of a teaser to get people to comment, and many people did comment, and lots of people did agree with me, so that's wonderful to see. Lots of people, mostly of a certain age, were saying, yeah, but when I say the results are in. Let's have a look. So, Triumph Bonneville, yeah, very good. Another popular bike, really popular bike, something that I don't know too much about, to be honest, was the Moto Guzzi V7. Moto Guzzi V7 came in for a lot of... Oh, that's a nice view down there. Do you know what? I need to take a picture of that. I need to... Oh dear, this is quite pleasant up here. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up, but... yeah, so... Well... At least I found the lake. Let me just turn round up here. So Moto Guzzi V7 was another contender, as was, you've guessed it, the old reliable Royal Enfield Classic 350. And you know I'm not going to disagree with that. So we have Triumph Bonneville, Moto Guzzi V7, Royal Enfield Classic 350. There was one or two votes. I know we didn't have a poll, but there was one or two people suggesting a Kawasaki W800. Kawasaki W800. I'll get a picture of this from the other side. So Kawasaki W800 was one. What else? Kawasaki 900 was mentioned. So yeah, nobody's going to disagree with that. That's all good. But that's the result. The general consensus was, as you'd expect on, lots of people are on here now, probably subscribe because of the Triumph Bonneville influence, and I know there's a few people still here from the Royal Enfield, when I had a Classic 350. And so they were going to be popular, but yeah, Moto Guzzi V7 was quite a popular choice. So do you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get to ride one of these. I'm going to see if I can get to ride one of these. Oh, I think this is the cafe down here. Yeah. I won't go in the cafe because I've stopped for something to eat on the way down, and I've also managed, I've got my flask, but in true time honoured tradition, I've managed to forget my cup. You always forget something, don't you? Well, I forgot my cup, haven't I? So I've had to drink it out of the flask. But so that's that. Now, talking about this, one or two people have said, which is quite interesting, that I hope you can see this is going to be the dam on the reservoir, I guess. So they were the main that's what most people were voting for. And it was tongue-in-cheek, it was only a bit of fun, so thank you for those that have commented. You know that, it's only having a giggle. One or two people, I think it was John said something about these bikes appeal to people of a certain age, which I would completely agree with, and maybe the youngsters, I'm hoping we can see a little bit of it that way now, and maybe the youngsters aren't quite so enamoured by these bikes that us old codgers were. And Mark went on to say that he's got a Bonnie, loves it to bits, loves it. He's also got a Kawasaki, oh dear me, you know, he's got one of them, you know the one, the ZZZZRR, XXZR 1000, something like that. You know, I'm sure it's a beautiful bike, seen a picture, I've posted a picture of it. But his son, who's obviously younger than him, prefers the Kawasaki Z. So, you know, we might be a dying breed. We might be a dying breed, because if you think about it, if you're growing up nowadays and, you know, maybe you're growing up with sports bikes and more sports tourers and fairings and things. And so it's easy to see that when they get to our age, that they will be looking back on bikes from their youth, and they won't have much time for, you know, the Royal Enfield Bullets and the Bonnevilles of this year, of this world. Now, there's a couple of reasons that I'm out today, and one of them is, now as you'll know, one of the issues that I've got with my Bonnie, let me put my visor down, you might be able to hear me a little bit better hopefully. One of my issues with my Bonnie is the seat. And it's not just the Bonnie, you know, I must have it, I don't know what's up with me. I know I'm too fat, that's probably doesn't help. In fact, that's probably a reason to lose a bit, isn't it? Because all this weight pressing down on your lower back and on your buttocks isn't going to help. So maybe that's something. Well, it's about time I did something about that. You know, I'm always gonna lose a bit, and I'll start tomorrow. You know, I'm one of them, I'm afraid. Tomorrow comes, I'll last a couple of days, and then I soon collapse. But anyway. Joking apart, it could be as simple as that. I could be too fat. But one of the problems that I have with not just this but a few bikes is the seat. And so I was moaning about the seat. But, you know, other people have said, yeah, the seat's it's okay for a while, but, you know, the comfort seat's slightly better. The King and Queen seat is much better. Well, I have to give a shout out to Morgan. Morgan is one of my, he follows the channel, I think, he's been following it since Royal Enfield. He's got a lovely classic 350. He's over there in Spain and he was watching, and now Morgan must have had in the not too distant past, in fact, I'm not sure I don't know if he still got it, I don't know, I'm not quite sure of the story of this, but anyway, he said, I've got essentially gathering dust, a Corbin gunfighter gunfighter and the lady, it's called, seat, and he's in Spain, and he said, I'll send it you. Now, I've heard of the reputation of Corbin seats, but I've never actually owned one, mostly due to how much they cost. You know, they're very, very expensive, aren't they? But Morgan says, well, I've got this seat, so I'll send it you and see how you go on with it. So essentially we had a bit of a rigmarole. You know, Morgan has sent me this seat, so Morgan, thank you very, very, very much. I've already said that to you in an email. I do appreciate it, mate. It has arrived safely, but you know, and I know, it wasn't without its trials and tribulations, what with one thing and another, but I do appreciate it, and it's on the bike now. cosseting my grand derriere. And so another reason I wanted to go out today was this was the first opportunity that I've had to do a decent ride, as opposed to just, you know, when I first had it, I put it on and went around the block and thought, oh yeah, that's much better. And I thought, well, I'll go for a decent ride, because I do believe, from what I've heard, that these seats, they do sort of bed in, and they can take a while to bed in and mould to your cheeks, if you like, mould to you, and but they do come with a really good reputation. I'm sure other people have had them. I haven't, so this is my first one. So what I'm going to do in a bit, so I've popped it on, and my observations are that without any shadow of doubt, it's better than stock seats. It's absolutely 100% better than the stock seats. It's got a shape, the front where I'm sitting is shaped a bit like the Royal Enfield Classic seat, like a saddle, you know, it's one of them. And now on the bike it does look a little bit, it looks a little bit, I would say odd, a little bit bulbous. Perhaps, you know, you could make a case and say, well, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but if it allows you to ride the thing for, you know, if it doubles or trebles the length of time you're in the saddle before, you know, we're needing a visit to accident and emergency hospital, then it's got to be worthwhile, hasn't it? It's got to be worth a go. So that's really what I'm out for today. So what I'll do is I'll get a little bit further and I'll stop and I'll show it you, and you can see what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are on Corbin saddles. My initial thoughts are very favourable. As I say, it's early days, and this is the first decent ride I've had out. But you know, I mean, what is it? Why is it? It's made of leather. I suspect that's part of it, and you know, it does seem a lot heavier, a lot more substantial than the standard seat. So obviously we've got the shape, we've got the material. This isn't a flimsy, I'm not saying the Triumph seat's flimsy, it isn't, it's perfectly adequate for the job, but it isn't as solid as this thing. I bet it weighs, it must weigh a few kilos more than the Triumph seat, so, you know, you could consider that to be a disadvantage, but does it really matter, you know? Not really. Well, it wouldn't matter if I could lose a stone or two. That'd do me good as well. So what I'll do is I'll stop in a bit. I've got a few photographs for you, and I'll show you the photographs and I'll show you the seat once I can get somewhere. I was going to say somewhere a bit quiet, but there's hardly anything on the roads today around here. It is a Monday, so I suspect on a Sunday or a bank holiday I bet it's heaving up here, but relatively quiet today, so let's just see how we go on. I don't blame you, mate. You don't like the look of me, do you? Eh? And why would you? Why would you? When you got a baby to look after. Hey, you stay with your mum. There you are. So here we are. We're in, I don't know where we are. We're heading from Lake Vyrnwy, if that's how you pronounce it, over towards Bala. And I've just pulled up to show you. Oh, we're getting a bit brave. There we go. Where are we going now? Oh, we're not that brave after all. I've just pulled up to show you this this wonderful Corbin seat that Morgan in Spain has sent me. So So there we are. This apparently is a gunslinger and lady. You can see that it's shaped a bit like a Royal Enfield, a little bit like a saddle. Really comfy, made of leather. Narrow at the front so you can get your feet down nicely. And a padded back seat there that would, underneath there you can stow some tools. There's like a thing in there. So what do you think of that? Does it spoil the look? I don't care if it spoils the look. If it's more comfortable on my body and allows me to ride twice the distance, then I'm more than happy. And I think it's already established that it will do that. So, yeah. Made of leather, more substantial than the standard seat, and a worthwhile upgrade, I think, without any shadow of doubt. They are. Yeah. Still the best looking bike in the world. Motor Guzzi V7. Yeah, okay. Okay. Okie dokie. So I hope you can hear me okay. I hope my microphone's working. Right, where's my notes? There's my notes, few notes here. And that looks on the slant, but then it looked on the slant the other day, didn't it? So we'll just have a quick slurp of coffee. Wonderful day for it. I forgot my cup. You always forget something, don't you? You go for a ride out and there's always something that you forget. And I've got this metal mug I bought, like a camping mug, which is wonderful. Guess what? And I bought it. So let's have a quick slurp. Wonderful. Right. We have a few, not many, but a few photographs to get through. And one of them's mine. I'll tell you what, let's start with mine. Let's start with mine. It's my channel. No, right, what it is, with my mate Pete in Normandy, he's on about, he's a Motor Guzzi fan. Don't know why, when he can have something as pretty as this, but there you go. And he's on about, and he knows that I had a California years ago. Now, the California was the thing that I did just under 1,000 miles on in a day, which was ludicrous, but that was the bike, and so it's got fond memories for me. And he was asking me, and I couldn't remember. He said, what model California did you have? And I said, I don't know, I can't remember. But I said, I have got a photograph of it. Now, I'm going to put it up now. This is a photograph of a young chap who, for those of you who don't know, it's not, when I was at work, I was, for many years, I was a lorry driver, and then I was a DSA driving examiner. So I was taking people for driving tests, and most of my time for the DSA, because I was from a lorry background, was on lorries. And one day this lad turned up, and me being the resident motorcyclist, somehow he ended up on my programme, and it turned out to be, can you recognise him? Leon Haslam. I can't remember. I think, if memory serves me right, I think, and you'll all tell me, no, he never rode for them. I have an idea he was riding for Ducati, or was it BMW? Anyway, he's riding for somebody, and he came for his driving test. Lovely lad, and I got him to sit on my bike outside the test centre, and just took a picture with him. So that's I'll throw that one into the hat as well. So that's my picture of me, my California 1100 EV with Leon sitting on it. Now, Wally in the good old US of A has sent me a picture of his wonderful classic 350 at a place called Clifton Mill, which goes right back to 1802, which is quite an elderly thing in the USA. You know, I think I sent back an email saying thanks very much, and I mean, it's old anywhere, isn't it now? 18, 19, 20, so it's 225 years old. And yeah, nice picture, Wally. Thanks very much for that, mate. Now, my mate Scott, he's been to Mallorca, and while he was over there, he hired a Yamaha Tracer 7. So can you imagine that in Mallorca? What a great place that is to have a bike like that. So he's been, obviously, he's been out and about, and he's been round on his bike. And so that's wonderful to see, Scott. Thanks very much. And the last one I've got is Gary. Gary's sent me some pictures down the line. Must be winter over there in Australia at the moment, Gary, South Gippsland. And he sent me a picture of his classic 350 at Corumbury. And he's got it parked up by some sort of mural there. So that's lovely. That's a nice picture, Gary. Thanks for that. If anybody's got any pictures they want me to show, or if you've got any comments or anything you want me to discuss on the channel, feel free. You know, either comment below or drop me an email, shottostravels@gmail.com, and I'll happily air them for you. I'll show you pictures and I'll air them for you. And I think that's... Oh, on my list of... is this the best looking bike in the world? Earlier that I went through the Motor Guzzi V7. I missed one off. I've just seen it on my notes here. A BMW R9T. What do we think about them? You know, I had to Google that to see what they were like. And, well, one or two people said that. But, I mean, that back end, it's in the classic back end. It's got a monoshock. That's what you need for classic back end. Them babies. Even though them are like pieces of wood. But, having said that, this seat... It's so much more comfortable with the seat. Even the suspension seems to be more compliant. You know, our roads in the UK don't help, do they? But, well, it is what, you know, we're pothole ridden, and the roads are in a dreadful state. So that can't help the suspension much at all. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for this one now. I'll put you back in my top box and tickle off home, and then we'll pop this on later in the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give us a like. Comment below. Don't forget photos and stuff like that. shottostravels@gmail.com. If you haven't already, it'd be great if you could subscribe. That really does show your support for the channel, and show that all this, you know, the sort of stuff that not just me but other YouTubers do as well is worthwhile. So subscribe if you can, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, don't forget now. Look at this sun. It's summer. We've already passed the solstice, haven't we? The is it called the solstice? The shortest, the longest day. So we're going the other way now. We're steaming towards winter again, and then these things will be stuck in the garage for the next 3 months. So come on, get out on your bike. Look at what the scenery we've got in the UK. You're never short of somewhere to go. So get yourselves out on your bike. Watch out for the potholes and the lunatic drivers, though. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.